You're tuned in to Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, a forum where we discuss and explore society-based topics while advocating and providing information and resources to the community through an unscripted, unfiltered, and authentic approach. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Watch us on YouTube. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, your society-based channel. Welcome to a brand new season of Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. I'm your host, and my name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner, and we have an amazing episode lined up for you guys today, Season 3, Episode 1. But before we get into that, I want to take the time out to highlight our sponsors of this episode. Our title sponsor of the entire season, Evergreen's Plant Shop, Coffee House, and Wine Bar, located at 4677 Alvin Barkley Drive, Paducah, Kentucky. Evergreens strive to provide an experience as well as a great cup of coffee. They offer a variety of goodies and merchandise from local small businesses, so be sure to stop in for a great experience. Our episode sponsor for this episode is MADY, Make a Date with Yourself. Women carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, but always have the capabilities to figure it out. Celebrate women by joining together with the Make a Date with Yourself network for fun social events, savings on everyday purchases, and a no judgment community to encourage peer-to-peer support for women of all lifestyles. So definitely check out their website, www.makeadatewithyourself.com. Now, Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, you can listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Music. You can watch us on YouTube, and be sure to join our Facebook group. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Today's topic is diversity and inclusion. Without further ado, allow me to introduce my special guest today. He is a local guy who attended Paducah Tillman High School. He then attended Arkansas Razorbacks University, where he played football. He started his NFL career in 2004 with Detroit Lions. He then played 9 seasons for Buffalo Bills and ended his career with the Tennessee Titans. In 2022, he was inducted to the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. I proudly introduce to you former NFL player, none other than George E. Wilson Jr. Welcome to the show. See, I did my research.
Yeah, you call him a whole government name.
I know, I mean, I don't have the social and date of birth, but yeah, it's all good.
It's all right. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm happy to be here with you today.
It's been a long time coming. There's so many people in this community that has brought your name up to me like, hey, he would be a great guest to interview. This is a society-based podcast, so we talk about issues, we tackle the hard topics. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that we need to be talking about more, and I know that's something that's very dear to your heart. So I appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with me today. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And for the brand new season, so this is season
episode
3,
one of season 3.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's a big deal, and it
congratulations on the 3rd season.
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much. And, when you have a vision, you have to just proceed with that.
Go.
So
you gotta move forward.
It.
Absolutely.
And this is my birthday, so season 1 tomorrow is my birthday, and we're doing a season 3 launch party, and it's going to be here at Evergreen's Plant Shop and Coffee House, and it's just going to be an amazing time to celebrate my birthday, celebrate season 3, and network. So
happy birthday!
Well, thank you.
Happy anniversary yes. On the show, all of that. It's a good reason to celebrate. Absolutely.
Well, we have some special drinks that were given to us by Evergreen's, who is the title sponsor. So every episode that I do, they'll provide 2 drinks. So what you have right there, I'm going to tell you what it is, and then you can look at that. And then you can tell me what you think after you taste it. So that is the blueberry matcha. And it's made with matcha crafted by Onyx and sweetened with chicory root. Now go ahead and taste that. Tell me what you think.
Very good. I've never had a drink like this before. It's not overly sweet. It kind of tastes like there's maybe a milk or almond milk base, but very refreshing and delightful. I would certainly have this again. Maybe by the end of this interview, the white foam will be at the bottom. Or if y'all hear me slurping on it, that's a reflection of how good it was as well.
Everything. So here I have, and this is my beautiful cup from season 2, but I love it. It was gifted to me. It's a pumpkin patch latte, and I'm a big latte person anyway. It has a cream cheese whip that is also house made. So I feel like it's gonna be all over my mouth. So we're going to need some napkins.
You're gonna have a mustache. I got some napkins for you right here. Oh, you did good. No cream stash. You okay? You've done this before.
Oh Lord. But yeah, we're gonna get right into it.
How was yours?
That was really good. I love the cream cheese taste in it too. It's like an after effect. Thank you for asking me. I think that was something I would forget.
It's pumpkin, so it's that time of the year. It's the fall, it's the harvest season. So
and cream cheese is something I love. So I never had cream cheese in the form of
a drink. Right.
So I think they're doing some very exotic feature drinks here, and I think nothing that I've tried previously was ever not to my liking. I really like everything.
I'm going to have to come back and sprinkle with the evergreen.
Oh yes, you have to. Well, before we get into the DEI stuff, my husband, Mahabeer-Turner, aka Larry, he wanted to squeeze a question in regarding football because he's a big sports guy. So he wanted you to talk about the interception of Tony Romo on October 8th, 2007 that led to a touchdown. So.
Well, that was I had just moved positions from wide receiver to safety back in early April of that year, and so that was the fourth game of the season. The fifth game of the season, and I had made the team as being the fifth safety, and I hadn't really played up until that point. And some guys in front of me got injured. The two guys that were in front of me got injured, and in a matter of 4 games, and going into that 5th game, they threw me in the fire.
Oh, wow.
And I worked hard. I didn't tell my family because we were playing the Dallas Cowboys, and I had some of my family coming up, and I didn't want the extra anxiety. I was already kind of nervous, but I kept it from them until right before I left to go to the stadium for the game, and they were so excited. And before I left out and get to the game, my position coach asked me when the last time I played safety was. I told him it was high school. And he looked at me and said, "Good luck." And so, but it's Monday Night Football, one of the biggest stages in NFL. And, third play of the game, Tony Romo drops back and tries to hit Jason Witten up the middle of the field, and it's a slight overthrow, and I catch it. My teammates block for me, and I run it back into the end zone for a touchdown. And so, I won't call it crazy, but the moving part about that story is that earlier that afternoon, I took a nap at home, and I had a dream while I was asleep that I had an interception, and I ran it back for a touchdown. So immediately upon waking up, I dropped to my knees and I prayed to God. I said, "Lord, if you let this dream come true, I promise I'll offer the ball up to you as a sacrifice." And so immediately when I got into the end zone, that's exactly what I did. I raised the ball up to the heavens. I'm saying thank you. My teammates are jumping all on me, excited for me, and I could feel the spirit of Paducah inside of me, because I didn't score that touchdown. We scored a touchdown. That was all my teachers, my coaches, my teammates, my church members, all the people that poured themselves into me for me to live out my dreams. That was a touchdown for Paducah.
For sharing that. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make us cry on camera. But thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's a very, very touching story that then opened up a lot more doors, in your career and for what you're doing here. Come back to Paducah to do some work.
Absolutely.
So let's get into, that you mentioned a little bit just now, but what motivated you to focus on serving underserved community when you returned home to Paducah after retirement?
I was an underserved kid. I was at-risk youth. I came from a home that didn't have many resources or extra money to do all the fun things that you might want to do. We lived in Elmwood Court. We were on food stamps. My mom worked at Western Baptist. She started off working midnights and shifted to days when we got a little older. Parks and Recreation summer feeding program fed me and my siblings during the summer. So we come from very humble beginnings, and so that was something that I never forgot. When I made it to the NFL, I had to hold up my end of another bargain that I had made with God as a kid. I used to pray the same prayer all the time. I used to pray to God and ask Him to bless me to see my NFL dreams come true. And if He did so, that I would be a blessing to other people. And He did His part. And now I'm living out the rest of my life to hold up my end of the bargain, if there is such a thing as far as a bargain with God. But, I know what it feels like to go without. I didn't have my first name brand pair of shoes, which were a pair of Nikes. I didn't get that until the 6th grade, where you see you see a lot of kids these days now, because of the sneaker trend. They got multiple pairs and they're exclusives and this and that. But, I had to work at my grandfather's tobacco farm over Christmas break to get the money to buy those sneakers. And, that's something that I always remember. I remember wearing the knockoff of the what we call the buddies. Yes. I remember going to basketball practice, and my teammates were cracking jokes on my shoes. So I've been in the position of not having resources and having to prioritize the bills and the roof over your head. And that's why I'm just so appreciative of the sacrifices that my mother made for my siblings and I to provide us with the essentials that we needed. We may not have always had the best of everything, but what we wore was clean. What we ate was nutritional. We didn't have to worry about where we were going to lay our heads. And so I am appreciative of the efforts and the sacrifices that she made for my siblings and I. But, that actually conditioned me to be considerate of other people, to be human, to see humanity in all people, and to not judge them by what they present as. You just never know what somebody may be going through. And so from my experiences, in that, it taught me how to treat other people because of how I was treated sometimes based off of what I was wearing. And that's no knock on those people who did that. Like, I'm friends with them, but that's just the trials of youth and just trying to understand life and how it presents and how you react to respond to the things that are said to you or that happen to you. And so that's what has set the tone for my adult life, to be as much of a resource, to be somebody that our youth can see, feel, touch, connect with, sit down, talk to, have a walk with, and try to just pull out of me what they need from me to help in their pursuit of their dreams, goals, and ambitions. And so it's just so rewarding to be back home in the community that raised me and around the people that poured into me. And it's my duty to pay forward those investments that they made into my life and to the youth that are coming up today.
What a humbling beginning for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. So can you describe some specific initiatives that you've implemented or plan to implement to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion within Paducah and the McCracken County area?
Well, I guess it was probably been back during 2020. During the pandemic, I was in my home in Atlanta, and just like everyone else, I was confined to my home. And after about 2 weeks of it, I'm like, I gotta get outside. So I'm like, we gotta go home. I told my son, say, come on, Bubba, we're going to Paducah. We can go to the farm. We can be outside. And over that time frame, I really started to really look at Paducah as a landing place for me to come back to and to build a legacy. And I started working on some projects on my farm property. I started spending more time. connecting with people in the community. I'm learning what I call the chessboard of Paducah. The business community, the educational leaders, the city leadership, the nonprofit organizations, like all the intricacies that comprise our community. I really started to look into those people and trying to connect the dots, and they're getting invited, going out to lunches and coffee and teas, just building that rapport, establishing those relationships. I learned who the players were, and I started to connect with them, network with them, so that I can really get a pulse of where the community was on many fronts, not just one particular area, not just youth-related issues, but just all things, all encompassing of Paducah. And since that time, I've joined some boards. I'm on the Paducah Bank Advisory Board. I'm on the Baptist Health Foundation Board for the Baptist Paducah. And just with those two boards alone, in addition to the Paducah Football Association board, with those three boards in particular, that really just showed me a lot of the people who I was wanting to get to know, and created organic opportunities for me to be able to have dialogue with them, be in the same room with them, sit at the same table with them, learn about their vision, their principles, their values, and see where there's some alignment with my personal ones, or are there some passions that we share. And so just trying to follow up on those conversations. I nurtured my own personal relationships with a wide array of people, and so now it's put me in a position where I'm speaking on issues from an informed position. I can put my name or my influence behind a project or an initiative that I think that would be beneficial to our community. And a couple of those that come to mind currently we're working on, or that I'm a part of, would be one. It's called the Lincoln Station Project. I work on a board with Mark Bryant, Steve and Nancy Powless, J.W. Cleary, Emily Rourke. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. I think that may be everybody, but we work with another gentleman named Ryan Drain, and just with that particular project, we're trying to utilize the property where the old Lincoln High School once sat at on the south side of our community. The Lincoln High School was the African American high school that was brought to our community through the alliance and the help of white citizens and black citizens to help educate the African American population back during that time. But Lincoln High School produced so many quality people that went on to do wonderful things. And our group wants to try to build something that commemorates that legacy, commemorates that partnership that it took to make such a educational institution be established, and trying to create a facility that is a resource to our community, that provides health services, educational services, professional services, things along those lines. But we're in the planning phase of it right now, and we're engaging the community. We're just now starting to engage the community, engage some potential stakeholders, to try to get a real pulse of what the people want, what the people need most, what would they utilize most, and just trying to address some of the barriers that may be blocking them or preventing them to fully utilize those type of services and realize their full potential. So that's a project that I'm a part of right now, that we work with the city, other nonprofit organizations, and so that's something that's in the pipeline that you'll be hearing more about. Another one is my cousin, Dr. Eddie Hamilton, is working with Meharry Medical School out of Nashville, Tennessee. They've been engaging our local hospital system at Mercy and at Baptist about trying to figure out where those gaps are, specifically for poor and minority communities, whether that be medical issues or dental. I think dental is a big one. that they're focusing on primarily, but it's been received well. That's also potentially going to be on the South Side as well. And the South Side is the emphasis because there was a study that was recently done, and the results of that study, one of the results of that study was that an African American male who lives or resides on the south side of town or the south side of McCracken County is 4 times more likely to have a limb amputated due to diabetes. 4 times more likely than any other part of the country. And that means that it's time sensitive, it's urgent. And so to be able to have an institution like Mahabeer interested in coming into our community, but also being able to have the leadership at Mercy and at Baptist to be able to receive them in a way that is constructive, that is considerate of our community, and trying to address and fill some of those gaps and address some of those issues that so many of our citizens are experiencing and dealing with. And so those two are high on my list right now that I'm leaning and putting my energy and my effort towards, because I feel like it won't just benefit one specific class or one specific race of citizens. It will be something that could benefit all of our community. And if we approach DEI or any other issue, health, education, employment, with the mindset of let's engage the people, let's see what the people say they want. Let's not tell them what they want. Let's hear from them. And so it takes time to do projects of this scale and this magnitude, but if it's done right, I think it can have a huge positive impact on our community, enhance the quality of life, and just boost the morale of the community that we live in.
Wow,
It's a
I love
lot.
that.
I'm sorry.
You know, but no. I want all that information to be accessible so people can know, what's being done in our community. When I moved here from Nashville, one of the things I heard about a lot was Southside. It's like the underdog. And so to see all this effort being put into that, it brings joy to not just me, but all the people here.
Yeah, I mean, and our community,
Yeah,
our community needs it.
Indeed.
The economic development in our community has been limited primarily to certain areas. The malls specifically, downtown, but in the middle of that is an entire community. And so, and there are some other areas in Midtown and some other areas that are being developed now, but the South Side is an emphasis, just like once before Fountain Avenue was an emphasis, Lower Town was an emphasis. And so you can go into those neighborhoods and kind of see some of the improvements that were made from initiatives that were brought online 5, 10, 15 years ago. And so now Southside is the next area of focus, but it won't be the last area of focus. And so we just have to be more intentional and strategic with getting the information out there. For those that don't know, the city has grant programs for people who own or live on the South Side, for improvements and renovations to your home or new construction. The information is on the city's website, and so I know the city is going to do even more work to get that information out there, but there are resources out there for homeowners to be able to tap into to help subsidize some of those expenses. But if you're talking about financial literacy, which is a trending topic, a trigger word when we're talking about DEI, but when you're talking about financial literacy, the first step in accumulating generational wealth is home acquisition. It's home ownership. And so what better way to do that, even if you start small, that's better than renting. It's better than bouncing from one place to the next. It's a place to call your own. It's to give you pride, to give you something to look forward to, something to pass on to your family. And so just with advocating for programs like that, for home ownership, land ownership, things of that nature, I think over time, if we do it the right way, we can raise high tides raises all boats. Well, if we do it the right way, everybody in our community can benefit from that, and that's what I'm excited about. I like the leadership that Mayor Bray is providing, And there are a lot of willing businesses and nonprofit organizations that are throwing their support and their efforts and energy and resources behind these initiatives as well. And we're primed and well positioned to be able to tackle this. We just have to take the proper time, take the right steps, and allocate the necessary amount of time to make sure that it's done the right way. That's the most important thing, because when you're dealing with issues like this, there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of emotions on the side of those who would be receiving these type of services and these type of assistance. So we want to make sure that we consider their perspective and their input as well when we're trying to go through execute these plans.
And that's what it's about. I'm also on the board for Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board, PDAB, and DEI is dear to our hearts. We focus on all people when it comes to inclusivity, and diversity. And when we talk about diversity, and people might think, minorities just of color, but it's so many different things.
Yes, diversity is not limited to race, and a lot of times when that term is used, it's used specifically for race. But diversity is an all-encompassing word. It's not only race, it's religion, it's gender, it's sexuality, it's income level, it's education level. I can go on and on, and so it's all encompassing. And so when we use that word, that's what you need to hear. Don't just hear it or receive that in the context of race, and that is, to me, what's so disheartening about the number of educational institutions and businesses who have eliminated their DEI programs that were implemented after summer 2020. And to those businesses and educational institutions that did that, you're telling on yourself. You're telling that, hey, we just did this as a reaction, because that's what we thought we needed to do to get good press. But you should have been doing it because it was the right thing to do. And so because you take it away, you're exposing your values, whether it's personal or professional. And so as a company, I'm excited that our community did not follow that trend when they started taking a lot of those programs away. And I think in the long run, our community will benefit from staying the course and finishing the race.
I love that. All right, so here's what I'm going to ask you now. What challenges have you encountered in your efforts to serve the underserved community, and how have you addressed them?
Some of the challenges are, really just trying to meet them where they are. As I just mentioned, sometimes it's not very comfortable shedding light on your financial state, on your health state, on the state of your household. It can be invasive, and so just trying to have those sensitive conversations in a way that they understand that I just want to know so I can advocate for some of these things. And hearing firsthand accounts or hearing personal testimonies can go a long way into connecting people to resources, or being able to bring partners together to help address a major issue that may be plaguing our community. And so, we just have to continue to work diligently and understand that this is a marathon. This is not something that's going to come quick. It's not something that's going to come fast. And anything that comes quick or fast typically doesn't last anyway. So we just have to put our resources together, put a plan together, and really go about it in a thoughtful, considerate way. And with that, another challenge that I've learned and have a better understanding of now are transportation needs for those that are maybe elderly, those that may be homeless, those that may be unemployed. How they get to these appointments, how do they get to work, how do they get to a doctor's appointment, how do they go pick up a prescription, the transportation is a gap, and that's a gap for youth. It's a gap for an adult. It's a gap for parents. It's a gap for schools. The school system has a shortage of bus drivers right now. So this is something that's not only a challenge for our community, but for many communities around the country right now. And so just trying to figure out things like that, trying to meet people where they are. How do we address the transportation challenges that we have in our community? And our community is a small community that it takes 10 minutes primarily, basically to get everywhere. But that's not the experience of everyone that lives here in our community. So, just really trying to get a pulse of the community by meeting them where they are. And transportation are two specific challenges that we face, but they're not insurmountable. In order to meet people where they are and get the information to them, we have to use a variety of ways. It can't just be limited to social media because everybody's not on social media. It can't just be email because everybody doesn't have a phone that has email on it or a computer at home. So you have to do a combination of traditional marketing, door knocking, handing out flyers, in addition to the new stuff that posting on social media and running ads and things like that on the internet. And so just addressing those type of challenges can help not only address these particular needs, but also needs that will come in the future, because we'll better understand how to meet these people where they are and what's the best way to get them the information.
I love that. Wow. We could go on and on and on and on.
I'm a talker, Danette.
No,
so
listen.
I can go all day.
You know why I call this show Voice Thoughts? Because I want those thoughts to be vocalized. We won't know about them if you don't talk
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing and for elaborating as much as you have been doing. How do you ensure that the voices of the marginalized community or communities are represented in city decision-making process?
Well, I won't just limit it on city-making processes or city-making decisions, but for me, any conversation that I'm privy to or any issue that I'm asked to join in and help address, I try to approach it with a mentality of what's for the greater good of the community, what's in the best interest of everyone, not my personal interest, what's in the best interest of my bank account, but what's in the best interest of the people and of the community. And with that, you have to have the right people. You have to have the right people. And in my time being back here, I've gotten to know many people throughout the local city government, the county commission, judges, school board members. I mean, a wide array of people. And you have to have the right people in place to be able to attack big challenges and solve big problems. And since I've been back, I've have established a very good rapport with Mayor Bray. He and I talk even when it's not something political going on or something political being discussed. He's a friend of mine. Mark Bryant is an even closer friend of mine, and who has put his treasure and time behind many initiatives in our community. I'm very good friends with David Dobbins and Alan Treese, two gentlemen who the local school district hired in the past year or so. I know these guys' hearts. Our school system, our community is going to be better with them in our schools. I know they care, and you can't say that for everybody. That they truly care, and I know Mayor Bray cares about our community.
Absolutely.
I know anybody that puts their time, adjust their life to pour into challenges and attack initiatives that are bigger than yourself speaks volume of your character. And I'm not limiting that to Mayor Bray or Allen and David. But to be able to sign up for civic responsibility is a huge, huge responsibility. You're under a microscope. Everything you say or do is being scrutinized and looked at under a microscope. And so it takes a certain type of individual to sign up for something like that. And I believe that we have a lot of the pieces we need, and people are new faces are coming to run for political positions. We're getting more youth. We're getting more diverse type of candidates. Again, diverse is not race, but of background, of experience. You know, we have more people coming back, that have gone, that went to live other places, experienced other communities, and they come back here trying to make a difference. Like you said, willing to serve and try to make Paducah better for everyone. And that's the type of leaders we need. Those are the type of leaders we need. People that have that type of outlook. What's the greater good? How are we going to lift everyone up in Paducah? How do we do it in a way that's meaningful, that's respectful, and that's considerate? And I firmly believe that Paducah is on the right track, and we're on a trajectory going up. We just got to stay the course.
Stay the course, and as you say, one foot in front of the other.
That's it.
If you go too fast.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, don't go too fast. Don't go too slow. Just go at your speed, whatever that is, and we'll get there together.
I love that. I love that. Why do you think conversations about DEI are more important now than ever before?
It's important now because we're more connected than ever before. We're more, you get more diverse perspectives presented to you now more than ever. You get a diverse propaganda pushed on you every day. So being able to have people at the table that have a wide range of perspectives and experiences and views on all things, that's how you have meaningful conversations. And it's not limited because of the perspectives and the lived experiences and the exposure that you may have had through your life experiences. And so, we are in a time where we can either give in to the discourse that's being sold, or we can shut that out and be good people and be humans first and see people for who they are rather than assuming who they are. If we do that long enough, we do that with the right people at the table, we can make this place better for everyone. And I know that's what we keep coming back to, but that's what we've been taught. You grow up, you have your family, and you make your kids' life better than your life. If I want to make my kids better, my son's life better, then I got to help somebody else too. Because it does me no good just to focus solely on my household when my son and I have to go and live out in this community. And if I only focus on my household, then what happens when he leaves the house? What is my experience when I leave the home? So we can't just be solely focused on our silo. We have to come out of our silo and see outside as a community, as this is all of ours. This is the place that we have to live. I'm passionate about Paducah. You're passionate about Paducah. Let's find a way to build on that passion. Let's not focus on what we disagree about. Let's just start with what we agree on and go from there. That's where what my approach is. That's what my mindset is.
Right. And as you say, those conversations, now more than ever are needed to evolve.
Right, absolutely. And so when I'm in those rooms or in those discussions, I'm listening for the marginalized, for the people that aren't in there, so I can take some of this that I'm able to back and say, hey, this is what's being discussed, this is what's being kicked around. What are your thoughts? You know, and when there's opportunity to try to bring somebody else, a diverse perspective, a new experience, a new perspective to the table, bring that person into the room, then I try to do that. You know, because I saw some young lady speaking about Reverend Jesse Jackson. They was giving him his flowers before the Democratic National Convention, and on this interview, they were talking about some of the things that stood out about him, and they were talking about being in a room, being at the table, and they said that his perspective that he shared with them and that they followed was when you go into these rooms, look and see who is not there. Look and see who is not at the table. Look and see who is not a part of this conversation, and try to find ways to bring those people to the table. And that's what I try to do. And that doesn't happen fast. It doesn't happen quick at all. But you may not physically be there, but your thoughts, your perspectives are there because I'm bringing them there. Or somebody else may be bringing them into the conversation. And over time, we can actually physically bring you to that. Yes, right. Absolutely. And that's what it's going to take to solve our societal issues, our Paducah issues. It's getting the right people at the table with the right heart, the right mentality, and with the team first, community first approach. That's how we're going to do this.
I love that. So in your experience, what roles does leadership play in shaping a culture of inclusion?
Leadership can shape the culture because whoever is at the lead, whoever is at the helm sets the tone. If we're talking athletics, the coach is going to set the tone for the team. The team typically takes on the personality of the coach because the coach is implementing the offensive and defensive schemes. He's introducing what the standard is for work ethic, for effort, for attitude. You know, he's setting the tone. He's creating the culture. When you look at business, the CEO is the one who sets the tone for our company. This is going to be the workplace environment. This is going to be the expectation. If you work from home, if you work from in the office, this is what you're supposed to wear to work. This is what your work day looks like. You know, this is the culture. This is the system we're going to use. This is when you're going to log on. This is when you log off. You know, et cetera, on and on. When you're talking about a culture of a community, the mayor is at the helm. He's going to set the tone for city leadership, all the city departments, how they engage the community, how they execute the game plan for keeping the city in economic good standing and planning for the future. And so just using all those different examples, you know, the leader is at the helm. Now, under those, you have other leaders, like with sports, you have your coach, but then you have your team captains. Your team captains are your ambassadors that help police the locker room so that every challenge that arises doesn't always have to go to the head coach. You know, for a city, it may be our commissioners could be that buffer for our mayor. And so having the right people in leadership will help set the tone and create a culture that is diverse, that is inclusive, and is equitable for everybody involved. When I was playing for the Buffalo Bills, I was also a union rep. So I would have to go on behalf of my team and advocate for their rights, for the things that they want to see changed, and have to vote in a way that's reflective of that. Everything that I voted for, I didn't always necessarily want my personally, but I was voting. And I was given the confidence of my teammates to be able to reflect their perspectives and represent them in a way that was fair, that was inclusive of their views, but also just trying to have the greater good for growing the game for future players. And so trying to strike that balance is not easy, but when you know your heart is in the right place and your intentions are pure, you have to do what the people who have put you in place ask you to do. And I always had pride in saying that no matter what my personal feelings were, I always tried to represent my locker room in a way that if they were in the room with me when I spoke or voted on their behalf, that they would say, "Job well done. We appreciate what you're doing." And so, having the right leadership in place is vital for culture, for accountability, for responsibility, for commitment and consistency, and amongst a wide array of other things. But having the right person in the right position is vital to our community. And I feel that our community is positioned to really grow. And with the leadership that we have in place right now, I feel like we're on, like I said, we're on the right path. It's not going to come fast. It's not going to come easy, but we're on the right track, and I'm in full support of going in that direction. We want to grow, but with growth comes challenges, and we have to be willing to face those challenges.
Wow, we're almost there.
It's okay. It's okay. I still got more to drink.
You know, it's not going to be a compliment if you don't get that white thing at the bottom, as you mentioned.
I'm going to slurp before it's over.
But I'm having such an amazing time. I could keep you here for days. I could tell that you're very passionate about this initiative. You're passionate about your purpose. You know what your purpose is. And so I applaud you for taking that up, for coming back to your hometown. And as you said, you were previously an underserved child as well in your community, and you saw the needs, you see the needs even today. And as you say, there's a lot of work to be done. But for you to come back and you're very passionate, I could tell, like you have a very good heart, and you can tell when somebody does as well. And you being at the table representing this entire city, this entire community. I just want to say that I'm absolutely proud of you, and I'm sure you hear that all the time, but just sitting here firsthand, hearing your responses to these questions, and just seeing your true heart coming out, it means a lot to me, and I don't take that lightly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so we keep it going. How do you measure the success of DEI initiatives?
But first, success is kind of subjective. But for me, success is measured in the improvements that you see. Some of the challenges that we're addressing, particularly, some of the ones I mentioned earlier, in addition to our housing crisis that our community, as well as all communities around the country, are experiencing. You measure those efforts by the improvements that you see. Are people's lives better? Do those homeless numbers come down? Can we find a solution to those transportation challenges to help get some of our elderly community members to their medical appointments? Or can we expand our PATS transportation system, to have more recurring scheduled routes, to be able to have a predictable anticipating schedule, so that people can get on the routes, get to work on time, get back home on time to receive their kids, so on and so forth. So you measure it through people's lives being made better, and they will tell you, the improvements is what you measure. It's not this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and being able to understand that and having a clear perspective and clear view of what those measurements and how to properly measure the amount of success you have. Like I said, it's about seeing the people, talking to the people, seeing their lives, involving them. Absolutely. And to me, that's how you measure it. And then you bring them up, and then they turn around and help somebody else. Then they're running for office. Now they're getting on some of these boards, and now you have added to the diverse experiences and perspectives at the table. So it's a yes. And like you said, and building up other leaders, and you're giving these people testimonies to turn and tell the next person, so that they can give them encouragement to pursue their goals, and maybe help try to lift themselves out of a tough and challenging situation.
I love that. We think about ripple effect, and we always think about that in a bad way, but that's a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Basically just passing it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
They always say if feed a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him how to fish, you feed him for life. So
and
raising up others.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, I do want to say that for those that are receiving the help, there has to be skin in the game on both sides. What you hear a lot is, we're giving all these handouts, but nothing changes. If nothing ever changes, then eventually those handouts are going to stop because they don't see any return on the investment. And so we also have to understand when addressing these challenges is that there has to be skin in the game for all sides. In my position, sometimes I get asked to help in a lot of different situations, and in every situation, I'm not able to help. But I'll tell you, I'm more inclined to help somebody who's already helping themselves. If I know that you're not where you used to be, if I know that you have this already done, or you've already taken these efforts, then okay, me putting a little more effort can maybe get you across the line or over that hump. But if I care more than you care, then that's a problem. And so when you run into situations where people are trying to help other people, but the people that are receiving the help aren't necessarily trying to help themselves, then that makes that whole give and receive dynamic a little bit more challenging, a little bit more sticky, because it's like we're just throwing money at. Right. We're just putting the Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. We got to triage that thing, get that bullet out, close it up, get you healed, get you back. But we have to help ourselves too. We can't just fall into the mindset of having a pity party and it's always been like this and this is how it's always going to be. No, if you want better for your life, do better. Educate yourself, position yourself, surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. And it's not easy, but you got to start somewhere.
And as you say, the resources are out there.
Yes, it is.
So find organizations. There's a lot of nonprofit organizations here in this community. I'm moving from Nashville here, and I don't know if it's because it's a smaller city, but there are so many nonprofit here with so many great initiatives. So the resources are out there. Find somebody that knows, how to connect you to those resources and start moving forward.
In my opinion, there are more resources out there for people who are doing everything they can to help and improve their own lives than are for those that are just barely trying to get by doing the minimum but expecting the most. People that are really out here trying to help themselves, there are more resources and opportunities out here for people like that.
I love that. All right, how do you plan to sustain DEI efforts in the long term?
As I mentioned earlier, definitely through the Lincoln Station project and the Meharry Medical School project. Those are my two main ones right now. I'm sure when we finish with those, there are going to be some other ones. Personally, on my farm property, I'm got a project in the pipeline. I'm working on something. Finishing up another project on my farm right now. But when I get done with this current one, my goal is to work on a campground development. I used to take a group of about 50 or 60 middle schoolers from Paducah Middle School down to Nashville to Camp Widgewagon. It's a YMCA campground development down there. And we used to do a weekend leadership retreat. I did it for about 8 or 9 years. And I want to build something like that here locally. It was my favorite program for my foundation because I got to be with the kids and see them in a very up close, raw, unfiltered environment for an entire weekend. And then they got to see that from me. So, we got to pillow fight and wrestle in the cabins. We got to race. We got to play games. But it was very just relaxed, friendly, engaging, and inviting environment. And I missed it. And I want to build a campground development that allows us to service more kids more often, but not just kids, not just schools, but also provide leadership and leadership development and team building for our business community. And I'd be a platform for church camps and summer camps for our church communities as well. And so, but we want to be able to provide a platform, like I said, for churches, businesses, and schools to be able to bring their students out, bring their employees out, bring their church members out, to be able to give them experiences that makes them closer, that makes them more considerate of one another, considerate of the environment, so we can be environmentally conscious, and just try to make us better humans, better leaders, better people, better employees, better bosses, better business owners, and with a campground development that can service a community that way, I think could go a long way to addressing some of our DEI challenges, as well as other challenges that may not necessarily fall underneath that umbrella.
And create a future.
Absolutely. It'll create a future, employment opportunities, enhance the quality of life, and like I said, just trying to create things that are sustainable and that continue to give after they're established.
All right. What advice would you give to other city leaders looking to improve DEI in their communities?
Get in touch with your people. Get a pulse of your community. If you're speaking from a perspective where you're telling people what they need, as opposed to you regurgitating what you have been told that they need, you're probably doomed if you continue down that path. But get a pulse of your community. Like, meet them where they are. It's election season, so it's natural to happen now. But do it after the election. Do it when they're
serving your term.
Do it in the year that's in between midterms and the general election.
Yes.
Do it then, because people, when you show up without wanting something, people will listen to you more. So show up when you don't need anything. Just show up. Be there. Get a real pulse of your community. It'll help you to see things in a light that you haven't before if you've never done that. You typically see the politicians come around, visit the churches, visit the small gatherings at the coffee shops, and all of that. But show up when it's not campaign season. Show up when there's no cameraman, and really get a sense of what your citizens are experiencing. What are there challenges that they are facing that the city can help address? And it's not the city's job to solve every problem that every citizen has, but it can go a long way to know that you have city leadership that cares when it's not election season. So I would say get a true pulse of what your community is saying, how they're feeling, what is their outlook? Does their outlook or their desires align with the emphasis that the city has in their initiatives and their budgets and their plans for the year? So talk to your people, get a sense of what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what is their experience like, so that we can help address some of these gaps that may exist.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And my final question to you today is, how do you envision the future of Paducah in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Oh man, the future. I feel like our future is very bright. I see more diversity in our city leaders, in our school districts, in our classrooms, in our small business owners. We're on the right path. We just got to stay the course.
That's right.
We just got to finish the fight. And there are going to be setbacks, there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be speed bumps. But the only way to get to the finish line is to keep plowing forward. We can't go around it, can't go underneath it, can't go over the top of it. We got to go through it. And as long as we address it and go through those experiences together, and remember, we are humans first, that we all love Paducah and we want Paducah to be great for everybody. We can start with that being the first thought that we all are in agreement on. There's nothing that we can't handle. There's nothing that we won't be able to overcome. We have a great community here. Other major cities are bigger than us in population, but this community loves and supports one another. I know that I'm a product of that. And since I've come back home, I've seen how this community supports each other, other initiatives, other efforts, whether it's other local businesses. Like, there's a connectivity here in our community that other communities would long for. We have something special here. We just got to stay together, finish that fight, and we'll get there together. I have the utmost confidence and faith that we will, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited to be back in Paducah.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed that. Thank you so much for coming on to this show and for sharing your heart the way you did, your passion and your intentions for Paducah with the initiatives. Before you go, of course, I don't always get the opportunity to interview the professional athletes, so I have something special that I would like for you to sign. And I brought a nice one of those metallic markers.
The Sharpies, okay, yeah, absolutely. So am I making this to you, or am I making this to your husband, or just sign?
Let's do it for both. Let's do Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Luke Larry's. Listen, you have all the time.
Okay, all
it's
right.
It's a commercial break,
we'll
y'all, while George Wilson Jr. is signing my special NFL, and it's not just any type of football either. So it's NFL football, so it's authentic. I'm gonna take the time out to highlight our sponsors once again. Our title sponsor, Evergreen's Plant Shop, Coffee House and Wine Bar, located at 4677 Alvin Barkley Drive, Paducah, Kentucky. Evergreens strive to provide an experience as well as a great cup of coffee, and they offer a variety of goodies and merchandise from local small businesses, so be sure to stop in for a cup of coffee or the great experience. Our episode sponsor is MADY. Make a date with yourself. Women carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, but always have the capabilities to figure it out. So celebrate women by joining together with Make a Date with Yourself Network for fun social events, savings on everyday purchases, and a no judgment community to encourage peer-to-peer support for women of all lifestyle. Check out their website, www.makeadatewithyourself.com. And of course, I want to tell you guys again how you can listen or watch. You can watch us on YouTube, you can listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. Definitely join our Facebook group, Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. How did you do?
I think I did pretty good. To Voice Thoughts and Loopy Larry,
so
much love and respect.
Look at that, y'all. Look at that. That is amazing. Now,
so is Loopy Larry's is your husband?
Right. It's a soup salad sandwich restaurant.
The city had a seminar for small developers, and they did the food.
The catering.
Oh
yes.
my goodness.
Yes.
I had a Santa Fe salad.
Ooh,
I gotta come back. I just saw where y'all were located at. I'm coming before the week is out.
It's a honey lime dressing.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Hey,
I'm gonna let you hold this. Let me show you a thing. So my husband got me something very special.
Oh, okay. He even got the case.
Oh yeah. He's ready. Yeah. He got this for my birthday, okay. And so I got an early birthday gift. Okay. And so he's like, you don't want to just get it signed. So let's do the honors.
We gotta tee it up. That's what you call it, teeing it up.
I have to shine this down because of course you see it has some spots already.
It's all right.
And this is
it's
officially signed by former NFL player George E. Wilson Jr. We're not going to get into it. I appreciate you for being on this show. I've had an amazing time, an amazing experience with you. The conversations were needed, and I hope that you continue to, create future for Paducah with your passion and your drive. I'm just happy that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to be on my show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I wish you continued success. I hope the season 3 goes as well as the previous 2 have, and I wish you many more seasons to come. So I appreciate the platform, and I encourage anybody else that wants to be a part of these type of conversations to please connect with Miss Danette. You are a very friendly host and welcoming and evergreen.
Thank you for the drinks. You haven't even.
I told you, it's done. I'm co-signing. What was the blueberry macchiato?
Yeah.
I butchered that name. But
Matcha.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't even know what I said, but blueberry.
Matcha.
Okay,
Say
there
matcha.
you go. Matcha.
That's it. Thank you all so much for tuning in to season 3, episode 1. I've been your host, and my name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner. See you on the next episode.